All right, so we're gonna jump into some transparent layered watercolor flowers. And I'm going to have my paints ready. I'm gonna use this purple, green, and blue. And I actually mixed a little bit of each color in each other, and that just helps it be a little bit more cohesive rather than just some random bright blue and some other muted green and etc. So that's a little trick to make your colors seem a little bit more cohesive. I've got those petal colors. I'm also going to be using, I think, a Payne's gray, or maybe a very dark green, or even a dark blue, just straight out of my pen, and that will be for the bottom of the petals as well as the stem. So we're going to jump in with our first petal. I've got this purple color here. I'm going to add even a little bit more green to just mute it out a bit more. And I'm going to come in with a pretty watery mixture and just pick a petal shape. We're going to go with that. So I did that outline. I'm going to fill it in. When you do your outline, if you don't have enough paint and water, you run the risk of making a very hard line, which I did in another video of mine. You can see exactly the effect. So just make sure you have enough on your brush to work with where you won't dry out and get those hard lines. So I'm coming back here and I'm trying to lift a little bit, mostly in the center. Clean my brush, dab it on the towel, and come back and lift. I'm not going to do it too much because I don't want to rub the paper so much that the fibers are going to get a little wonky and do some weird overworked looking things. So I'll move on to the green next, and I'm going to do, oh wait, I'm sorry. Before we move on, I'm going to pick up that Payne's gray in a very concentrated mixture. It's going to be a lot of paint. There's going to be enough water in it where it doesn't go down like a, buttery consistency, but I am going to put it down pretty thick. My purple paint was already drying, so it's not traveling too far. I'm going to try go in. I run the risk of agitating the purple, but let's see if I can blend that out just a little bit. It's being a little funky, and I don't really want blooms, so I think I'm going to leave it as is. And then I'm going to put that Payne's gray paintbrush to the side, or hold it. Come back in for my green paint, very watery mixture, and I'll do a different looking shape of petal. Maybe something a little more fanned out. Again, you don't want that paint to dry where you're going to get a hard line. So I'm going to actually just take my brush and dip it in the water so it gets really clear, and fill in the middle with that water and a little bit of paint. I could do a little bit of lifting, but it's pretty light as is. And while it's still wet, I'm going to take my Payne's gray mixture. Now, if I have too much water with the Payne's gray, it's going to distribute a lot further into the green petal. So I don't want too much water, but enough where it's going to move a little bit. I think I'll just leave it like that. And last one, we'll go with blue. I'm going to try to mute that a little bit more with a little bit more green and purple. All right, so I'm gonna get a lot of water on my brush so it's not too concentrated. And try to pick a shape I haven't done. Something more round, something just real funky. Let's go with funky. just dipping my brush in water and filling it in. Come back with the Payne's Gray dark concentrated mixture and just tapping in just a little bit at the bottom. Okay, so I have my first petals and I'm gonna completely dry these. I've got a little drying machine. You can use a hair dryer, you can let it air dry. I'm gonna speed it up with my dryer. So we're gonna do the same thing now. You can get creative with your petals if you wanna go real funky with the shapes, or if you wanna make them kind of matchy, which I'm planning to do. I will make this next succession of petals a lot lighter, a lot more diluted, so you can really see that transparent effect. And I can see how concentrated the Payne's Gray is at the bottom of these, so there's a good chance I will disturb that and it's going to kind of blend into my new layer, but that's okay. So let's see. Really light with this layer. Got to move quick so the paint doesn't make a harsh line. And I'm gonna not touch that Payne's Gray till the end because I know it's going to lift. Yep, a little bit. Okay, and I'm gonna finish it off with a little Payne's Gray in that bottom area as well. And move on to my green petal. So again, trying to be much lighter with this mixture, much more water to paint ratio. Going back with water to fill in the center so it can be extra light, and just touching that edge of paint, so no hard lines. Trying not to disturb the Payne's Gray underneath, it's really concentrated. And I've got a good amount of water in here, so I'm going to actually lift some as well. And then I'll come in with my Payne's Gray down here too. And on to the blue. So I just love that effect where it is layered on top of each other, but you can see that petal through there. It's just one of the pretty features about watercolor. Coming in with my blue again, mostly water, a little bit of paint. Gonna do funky little outline here. And I'm going to make that a little bit thicker before I come in with more water. There we go. And then I'm going to lift a little bit. When you're lifting, you don't want to be lifting and pushing hard with your brush on that petal underneath, because it will rub the paint from that bottom layer and it'll start to get blurry. And that's not what we want. So coming in with some more Payne's Gray. It's a little bit too much. I'm going to lift some of that. And same thing, we're gonna completely dry this layer. So now I'm gonna go through and repeat the process for however many petals I want on my flowers. Okay, so we're gonna jump into the stems now, stems and leaves. I'm gonna use the same color that I did at the base. So whatever you used for the base of your petals, you're gonna wanna use that color for your stem. And I'm using this brush it's a Silver Silk 88, size 8. It's got a nice fine tip to it, so I can do a nice thin stem, which is kind of the delicate look that I want for these flowers. But it's gonna hold a lot of paint and water, so I don't have to do small strokes and then reload and reload. So I'm gonna just take this down from the tip of the flower, and I'm gonna make it a little wavy. You can also vary the pressure. You can push down and make it a little thicker and thinner, and repeat that. And here, oops. There we go. And I'm just gonna press my brush down to make a few different leaves. There we go. And just like that, you have a few flowers in that translucent, transparent style where you get the overlapping petals. And you're welcome to quit there. One thing I like to do is add little eyes and a mouth because they remind me of Alice in Wonderland flowers, where they're in that scene and the flowers are gossiping with each other. You can also go back, and if you want to accentuate the part where they overlap, you could fill in some of these darker areas with even darker paint. And I think I'll do a couple of those just for fun, just so you can see it. Or you can just stop there and enjoy your beautiful transparent painting.